Hi, I'm trying to help people learn financials and to create cash flow budgets, financial forecasts, and financial analysis. This is helpful for estimating profitability, valuation, and financing need, which may be useful for a loan application as well as investor presentations and making sure the business has sufficient cash. So, for this example, I've just made up a startup company and also some assumptions about its costs and revenues. So, first we gotta name our analysis, and I'm just gonna call it tutorial. And then I want to do monthly periods covering the entire year of 2024, so 12 months. And then I'm expecting to start generating revenue in the third period, i.e. March, at which point I'm expecting revenues of $100, and in the final forecast period I'm expecting $1,000. The variable costs for the first period in which I'm expecting to generate revenue, I'm expecting to be $25 and $250 for the final period. And fixed cost, I'm assuming to be $200 throughout the forecast period. So I just want to briefly mention now that you can always add other numbers or variables later on, or you can change the numbers that you have now put into the wizard. So there's no finality to any of this. So as you can see, I now have the data that I put into the wizard down here in my input area. I have my revenues and my costs and my fixed costs, but you may also notice that there's quite a few variables for which I have no data. And that's completely fine. We don't really need data for all these variables for this example. Although you guys are of course always free to add data for the variables that you want to add data for. And we also do have quite a large free space, which allows you to do quite a lot of stuff. But exactly how that works, I'm gonna elaborate on in a future video. So for now, we'll just stick with the variables for which I do have data. And we can now go to the top left select output area. And first I want to show you guys the default topic, which is report, and the default report, which is forecasted financial statements. And we can now choose between the income statement, the cash flow statement, and the balance sheet. So first I want to show you guys my income statement. And as you can see, my income statement now appears in the top right output area. And also a quite useful tool if you're like me and you're quite new to this whole thing. We have this little box of information right here, which is really useful just to help you remember exactly what it is that you're looking at. So yeah, but I can also show you guys the cash flow statement. And as you can see, I'm gonna need a bit of financing, which is always good to know. So yeah, I can also do main forecast variables as the type of report. And then I can choose from some of these variables. So for example, I can show you guys revenues. And as you can see, my revenues now appear in this here chart. And I can hover above each specific column. So I can, for example, hover above the column representing August 2024. And I can see my revenues for that specific period or month in this instance. And I can also see the changes from the previous period, both as a real number and as a percentage. I can also double click this whole chart to get an enlarged version, which can be quite helpful. And also I can press these three little buttons right here, which allows me to download the chart as an image, which is really useful for presentations or reports or whatnot. I can also show you guys, for example, my profit after tax. And just to make this a bit more of a relevant example, and to show you guys a little bit about how the input area works, I can now add a tax. So I'm gonna add a 10% flat tax throughout the entire forecast period. And as you may have noticed, this area works exactly like Excel or Google Sheets with regards to the formulas and stuff. So yeah, if I now press calculate and let the program do its thing, my new variable, the tax, will now be taken into account. And as you can see, I now get an updated chart for net profit since I've now added the tax. I can also show you guys the topic all, which gives me quite a few options. So we can do forecast as the type of analysis. and I can now choose from quite a few variables as my output. But we can do, for example, revenues and costs. So now I get both in the same chart. And this chart is also interactive. So I can, for example, if I now press costs, it will hide the costs from the chart. And same way, other way around. So yeah, I can also show you guys, for example, a valuation analysis. So here we can see my valuation. So now I want to show you guys one last really cool feature, which is how to output a report. So what you want to do is you want to go to input, and instead of forecast, you want to select report. And now we get all this, which, trust me, I know at first glance it looks really complicated, but it really isn't. And you can always press this link here called help, which will provide you with several documents explaining the steps of outputting your own report. We will also be making more detailed videos on this specific topic in the future. But for now, I'm just going to show you really simple how to output a report. So what you want to do is you want to go over here and press enable report links. Then you want to press add link. And now you can go up here to download reports and select HTML report, which provides you with a link to your report. So now I have my report, and as you can see, I have all my charts, and there's also accompanying text to all the charts. And this text is just the default text that the program provides, but you can always alter this text and have pretty much whatever you want there. So you can pretty much do all you need to do to create a good report through the program. And something else that's also really useful about this is if you go to this page again and you press this button and go open sharing settings, you can share the analysis and the report with another user, or you can share it by email. And if you enable live sharing and full access sharing, it allows you and the people you work with to both, say for example you've shared it with a team, you can change the data in the input, and your team will be able to see the changes both in the input and in the report in real time. And if you enable full access, the people that you've shared it with will also be able to change the data. So yeah, that's a really, really useful asset if you work together with other people. And just then finally, I can also mention that you can download data from Excel or Google Sheets and have this program output it as a report. So yeah, for now, I think that's it. So thank you guys very much.